We are previewing Week 13 in the NFL. We're talking with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. I'm Peter Loshak. You're watching SBR Videos. Right now, we're going to cover Jacksonville and Tennessee. And Joe Duffy, Tennessee with the new coach, they should have had some fight in them, and I think they do have, some fight week to week. But as far as ATS results are concerned, it's not really happening. They've lost 3 in a row against the spread, and they're just 2-6 against the spread over the last 8. The Jags got popped by San Diego. Now, I'm not exactly sure what I think about the side here. I did bet the over, though, on the opening line. I got 43, and, I think that it's probably a solid play. Hearns is out for the Jags, I believe, but they should still have a decent passing game. And once again, I think that Mariota should be able to do enough offensively to get this game over a modest total. I took the over in Tennessee's game against Oakland. That was a close call, but it did go over. And I'm liking the over here again at 43. Joe Duffy, what do you think about that analysis?
I would tend to agree with it. That was certainly my gut reaction. And as you said, the fact that Hearns is very likely out for the Jags, that does kind of hurt it a little bit. Actually, it hurts it a lot. He's almost definitely out. I know that the Jaguars, they've struggled in the red zone, but they're a young offense. And when teams, quote unquote, especially young teams, quote unquote, leave points on the field, that means an upside because it is a pretty low total. So clearly the red zone struggles are factored in to that. Basically, the reason I said my gut reaction was to go with the over, and I don't make final picks based on gut reaction. But look, you got 2 very young quarterbacks, 2 guys that both teams hope are the franchise quarterbacks. They're both also runs. I know in the case of Jacksonville, certainly if they run the table, they could go in the playoffs. Even if they went 4-1, the math could work out right for them. But Tennessee, they're an also ran. Jacksonville is essentially an also ran. So I think now they can be a little more aggressive and see what their young quarterbacks have, kind of throw caution to the wind. No need to get conservative. And I do think both teams should be pretty aggressive offensively. And look, when you have young quarterbacks and it's late in the year, what you're hoping to do is see an upside. Because it's a pretty low total, I would agree with you, but I think since you like the over, I'll probably let you make the official pick.
All right, so you're going to make an official pass list. Didn't even mention the side here. It's kind of tricky. Tennessee minus 2.5. The Jags are coming off a loss before that, though. They had won 4 in a row against the spread. But again, losing Hearns is tough. Going on the road against a team that hasn't been winning but does have a new coach and should have some fight in them, the side is pretty tricky, right, Joe?
I agree, and both teams should have a fight in them. And as far as that intangible, it's hard to say. I actually think it's better when you have a young team that has no chance at making the playoffs because it kind of takes the pressure on them, pressure off of them. But Jacksonville, I guess they kind of look at the math and maybe they can say they need to make the play. They can go undefeated and sneak into the playoffs, and maybe that puts more pressure on them, which, again, I think would be a reason to go against Jacksonville. So the fact that Jacksonville is still mathematically, technically has a chance at a miracle, that makes me nervous in going with them because I like the younger teams that really have no pressure and are just kind of playing more for the future. So, a lot of times you ask me to do these ugly games, and sometimes there's pretty betting opportunities when it comes to these ugly games. And I think this is just an ugly game. This is kind of an ugly game all around.
All right, well, it's going to be a pass for Joe Duffy. As far as an official play is concerned, I'm going with the over 43, Jacksonville, Tennessee. Joe Duffy, give a plug for OffshoreInsiders.com. That's where all the magic happens. And you had a long-term record of success going back many years. Right, Joe? Tell us about that.
It does. 28 and a half years going back to the score phones before a lot of people watching this were even born. I've been winning for a long time and winning publicly. My plays are now at OffshoreInsiders.com. Been a spectacular season from beginning going all the way back to preseason, college, and pro football. And some of our top metrics definitely apply this weekend in both. Visit OffshoreInsiders.com for the updated details because we still got a lot of work to do.
Thanks, Joe.